This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Well, you returned to the company back in January of 2017, and that's when they inducted you into the Hall of Fame. Were you surprised to get the call about the Hall of Fame, or did it just feel like it was inevitable?
It was a surprise because I was planning on continuing to wrestle. And, you know, I was expecting a call from the WWE eventually. And when I did expect a call, I thought that, you know, Vince McMahon was going to ask me to come back to wrestle. But they did the opposite. They decided to induct me in the Hall of Fame, which is what you do when you retire. And, you know, I told Vince I didn't want to retire. And he said, well, we'll get around to wrestling eventually. And I think, you know, I think I was a liability for the company. And I think that's the reason that Vince wanted to start me out with the Hall of Fame. And then he gave me the general manager spot the following night on Raw. And I did that for about a year. So I think he was getting a feel for me to see how I was handling the situation and if I was staying clean, even though when I came back to WWE, I was clean and sober for 4 years in 2017. So I don't think I had an issue with that. I think that Vince McMahon just wanted to make sure that I was continuing on staying clean while I was with the company.
So when you said liability, you weren't necessarily referring to physical injuries. It was a concern about substance abuse?
I think both. I think my neck issues, you know, I did pass the physical, but, you know, it was, they saw a lot of arthritis and things going on with my neck that, you know, my neck has never been 100%, not since the Olympics. So it was difficult. You know, just having, you know, the liability issue is not just, you know, the neck issue, is the alcohol and drug issue. And, you know, me being up there in age, you know, at 50 years old, and, you know, it just, everything made it look like it could have been a liability. And I think it was. I think that's a safe assumption.
So let's talk about when you go back to the Hall of Fame. I mean, listen, this is probably bittersweet for you, right? You're the one of the headliners, and you get to do the big milk celebration, and they're rolling out the red carpet for you, and you probably appreciate all that, but it's not exactly the timetable you hoped for. What's going through your mind that weekend? And, you know, when you're on stage and looking at all your peers and the fans, and no, this is a big deal, but probably not one you were really ready for.
Well, you know, you have to be grateful for being inducted in the Hall of Fame. Not many of the superstars get inducted into the Hall of Fame. So it's a huge deal. And I knew it was. It was a huge honor for me. It's the last Hall of Fame I wanted to get into. And I wanted to make sure I was a shoo-in. So I was excited about it. I really was. Regardless whether I wrestled, I was going to accept the Hall of Fame. And, you know, if the company wanted to use me as a general manager, I would have probably have done it anyway, even if they didn't want me to wrestle.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.